Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a story that's unfolding right now in Ethiopia, a country facing a potential crisis due to a sudden shift in U.S. foreign policy. We're not talking about politics here. We're talking about real lives, real people, and the potential impact this is having on their future. Recently, the U.S. government announced a suspension of funding for USAID, the United States Agency for International Development. While the stated goals involve government efficiency, the immediate consequences are being felt thousands of miles away. In this video, we'll break down what USAID is, why this suspension is happening, and most importantly, how it's impacting Ethiopia, its people, and its future. Get ready to learn about a situation that has implications far beyond just one country. So what is USAID? Think of it as America's arm reaching out to help other countries. Established in 1961 by John F. Kennedy, USAID has been providing crucial humanitarian and development assistance around the globe. It's involved in everything from fighting diseases, providing clean water, supporting education, and helping countries recover from disasters. In fiscal year 2023 alone, USAID managed over $40 billion in combined appropriations, according to the CRS, which notes that calculations of USAID's budget can be imprecise. $40 billion is less than 1% of the federal budget, according to the Washington Post. Ethiopia was the second highest recipient behind Ukraine. To put it simply, it's a massive support system for some of the world's most vulnerable populations, operating in around 130 countries. In recent years, USAID has also provided significant humanitarian, development, and economic support to Ukraine and countries affected by Russia's invasion, as well as humanitarian assistance in the Gaza Strip, the CRS report adds. Now, the Trump administration, guided by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has initiated the closure of the USAID. This move includes locking employees out of the Washington, D.C. headquarters and suspending numerous senior staff members. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has declared himself the acting administrator of USAID, stating that the agency's programs often conflict with national strategies. Critics argue that the closure is illegal and endangers global humanitarian efforts, with USAID having provided $72 billion in aid in fiscal year 2023. Over the weekend and into Monday, Musk fired off a series of posts on X that accused the agency of corruption. Musk also called the agency a radical left political psyop and a crazy waste of money, and claimed USAID has been paying media organizations to publish their propaganda. This suspension is not just about money, it's about the future of USAID. With that said, let's see how that affects Ethiopia. Now let's zoom in on Ethiopia. Ethiopia has been a long-time partner with USAID, receiving significant support for decades. This aid has been vital in addressing the country's development challenges, from poverty reduction to improving healthcare and education. But now that support is in jeopardy, and the immediate effects are already being felt. The Ethiopian Ministry of Health has announced that over 5,000 health sector employees are facing termination because their positions were funded by USAID and the CDC. These aren't just numbers. These are doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers who have dedicated years, even decades, to providing essential services. There are over 5,000 employees affected. Most of them have worked in the sector for 15 to 20 years, primarily focusing on HIV-related services. Their sudden departure could disrupt crucial health programs. Imagine the impact. That's 5,000 fewer people treating illnesses, preventing disease, and providing critical care, especially in the fight against HIV. And it's not just healthcare. The USAID suspension is creating a significant gap across various sectors. In some instances, other organizations like UNHCR, UNFPA, FAO, and the International Rescue Committee, IRC, have stepped in to continue the USAID suspended projects. The suspension is also putting a strain on food security. Organizations like Action Against Hunger have already had to cut food assistance to refugees, a huge blow considering Ethiopia is already grappling with drought, conflict, and over 20 million people in need of urgent support. But what does it mean for the vulnerable Ethiopian population, the population most dependent on USAID? Let's break down the specific areas facing disruption. Healthcare. Expect potential setbacks in combating infectious diseases, reduced maternal and child health programs, and a weakening of the healthcare infrastructure. Food security. Millions could face increased hunger and malnutrition as food aid and agricultural support are reduced. Education. Initiatives to improve access to education, especially for girls and marginalized communities, are at risk. Economic development. Job creation and support for small businesses could be delayed or canceled. It's a cascade of negative consequences threatening to undo years of progress. This isn't just an Ethiopian problem. It's a signal to the world about the shifting priorities of U.S. foreign policy. The suspension raises questions about the reliability of the U.S. as a development partner and could lead to instability in one of the world's most vulnerable countries. It also impacts the U.S.'s image and influence globally. For decades, USAID has been a symbol of American goodwill and humanitarian leadership. This sudden shift risks damaging that reputation and potentially opening the door for other nations to fill the void. The situation in Ethiopia serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of policy decisions. While the reasons behind the USAID suspension are complex, the potential consequences for millions of Ethiopians are undeniable. The suspension of USAID funding represents a significant setback for Ethiopia's development efforts, with potentially dire consequences for millions of people. This also raises questions about the future of international aid in Ethiopia and the role of other development partners in filling the gap left by USAID. It's time we pay attention to the bigger picture. It's about the future of global aid, the impact on vulnerable populations, and the role America wants to play in the world. What do you think about this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more informative content, and share it with your friends to spread awareness. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.